Well, hey guys, what in the world is up with you? How's your week been? Welcome back to Shop Talk Tuesday Live. We've got a lot of fun things to talk about tonight. How was y'all's week? So, I wanted to get started first by telling you guys my best friend Cliff stopped by work this past week and he gave me a pretty cool gift. And so I told him I'd give him a shout out here on Shop Talk Tuesday. And he came by and he brought me this phone case. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's real wood, curly maple, and epoxy resin. And it was pretty awesome. As a matter of fact, he's making fun of me right now. I said, spit it out. What's up, Nick? How you doing, man? Mac Evans, how you doing? Marco, what's up? Jeremy, good evening. William, what's up, man? How is everybody? So anyway, he came by my work and he dropped off this pretty cool phone case. And if you guys want to go check these cases out, this is not a sponsor or anything, but carved.com. I don't know if you guys can see it. Carved.com. Sweet phone case. Hey, Will Hoffman. What's up? Hey, Mac, I appreciate that. I appreciate you enjoying the channel. That's awesome. Hey, Mike. So, Mike, did you see the picture, the thumbnail of this live? That's your table, bud. Took that picture this evening. Excuse me. Jeremy said, nice to finally get some decent weather. That is for sure. Man, it was freezing. Hey, Steven. So this week for me, behind the scenes went really well. I know my mom is really happy because my wife and I, we drove to Virginia Beach and delivered the buffet server, finally. I know it's been a long time coming, and I will have a video up soon of us bringing it into the house and my dad kind of giving his overview on what he thought of the buffet server. So, hey Kyle, I appreciate that, man. Jeremy said, what? Yeah, I know. I can't believe it either. It's been, what, a year since I... JJ asked, is there going to be a video uploaded of the pour? Yes. Yes, there will be. As a matter of fact, it will be this week. Something's going on with my light. Hold on a second. Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to post a video this weekend. I've poured it, and it was a success. And I was really nervous because it was we ended up using 12 gallons of epoxy. So we used 8 1.5 gallon kits from Stone Coat Countertops, their casting resin. Stephen asked, how's the adoption process going? Slowly but surely. The adoption process, so if you've heard before, we're still in the active waiting stage, and we haven't heard anything from a potential mother as of yet. We got a few. We heard a few earlier later last year. We had a couple of chances, but the mother ended up not choosing us. So we are just waiting for that time when a mother chooses us. So in between time, we actually have some training that we have to do. It's just like an online kind of seminar thing that we listen to, and we have to record a certain number of hours for that. So Mac Evans, so Steven, thanks for asking, buddy. I appreciate that. Mac Evans says, I'm new to this stuff. Learning from you and your channel has been so helpful for me. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Anytime you have a question, just ask. You can message me on Instagram at Goodview Woodworks, and also Facebook Goodview Woodworks as well. We have a Facebook page. And if you go to on YouTube, if you go to my About page, I have both links there. Hey, JJ, I appreciate that. Appreciate that, man. I'm definitely going to keep up the content. I'm trying to, this year, I'm going to try to post at least one DIY video. Here, check this out. Come here, Roxy. One DIY video, and obviously I'm going to continue to do Shop Talk Tuesday. So I'm excited for this year and what this year has to offer. Bob Nicholas says, I did my first inlays today and they were sketchy. What was so sketchy about it? Kyle says, have you used that epoxy with the blue hardener? No, I'm not sure. Do you have, I'm not sure what you mean. The only thing I know that has blue hardener is Bondo or body filler. I've never tried any other epoxy that has blue hardener. Hey, JJ, man, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. I really, really appreciate that. Jeremy says, maybe with the warmer weather, I'll get off my butt and clean my garage some so I can start with a project for this contest. You're dang right. Hey, man, we only got, another month until the contest is over. So I hope you guys are working on your projects and getting some stuff taken care of. And if any of you guys don't know the contest that's going on, some of you new guys here, it's called hashtag Cheapskate Challenge. And what the challenge is to buy all of your materials from one store. So, and online does not count. It has to be a brick and mortar store. As a matter of fact, Nathan, this guy that just commented, he's the one that came up with the Cheapskate Challenge, the name. So I appreciate that still, Nathan. So you have to actually go into a store and buy them. So I would say one kind of tip around that is if you search online, maybe Walmart or Home Depot, Lowe's, some of those, if they don't have it in stock, maybe you can order it, get it to the store as long as you pick it up and pay for it at the store, or pick it up at the store. That's the trick to the Cheapskate Challenge. You gotta get everything from the same store. And if you have some leftover scrap wood already, that's okay too to use. So, Kyle says you got a free epoxy kit and a video for a review. Yes, I did. It was the Incredible Solutions kit, and I got that. I don't know if you remember the cutting board video where I did it was the TV tray / cutting board video. If you've seen it, it's green, has the two wood rounds in it. So Incredible Solutions reached out to me and asked if I would review their epoxy. So they hooked me up with a 1 gallon kit. Mac Evans says, I made my first pour a few days ago. It was different for me. I'm a lifelong mechanic and trying new adventures. Hey, Mac, that's awesome. What kind of mechanic? I actually went to school at NASCAR Technical Institute and had my certification as an automotive technician. So I also have a mechanical background. Bob says, Nathan, who's your driver? Well, to be honest with you, I'm not a NASCAR fan. Don't hate me. I do like to, I'm in Virginia, so I do like to go to I used to go with my dad to the Busch race every year. And as a matter of fact, I think the last time that I actually watched it as a kid, Dale Earnhardt Sr. was still driving. So I would say I'm an Earnhardt fan, even though I'm not really a fan of NASCAR. So don't worry, I won't say Kyle Busch. Okay, Max, certified diesel tech, man, that is awesome. Diesel trucks or diesel cars. I don't know if you can see my shirt, rocking the Volkswagen shirt. I'm a Volkswagen fan. Jeremy said, I got my mechanic certification through the U.S. Army. Oh, that's really cool. So, working on helicopters. Jeremy, what have you been working on? Nick said, he just said Bush. LOL. You guys are hilarious. Trucks and light cars. So Max says trucks and light cars. That's awesome. Wheeled vehicles. Okay. All right, Jeremy. Nathan says you need to post the challenge on your Instagram. It's looking a little barren at the moment. I just joined a couple ago. So yeah, Nathan, you're right. I should do that, and as a matter, I'll probably do that this evening. So I appreciate you giving me the heads up. I'll see what I can do and post something up there. So Jeremy says his dream vehicle is a VW bus. Now I'm not sure what year, but I actually have a '75 Volkswagen bus camper sitting outside, and I'm hoping this summer starting to redo the interior, redo all the cabinets and some stuff in there. But it runs and drives. Last year during Halloween, my wife and I took it. We camped overnight in it, and we've camped in it a few times, which is really fun. JJ Webb says, love to stick around, but got to get busy. It's getting dark. Just want to stop and show support. Hey, JJ, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out, and maybe we'll see you next week. So, guys, I wanted to talk about the 12-gallon pour that I did this weekend. Richard Collins says, hello from Michigan's Upper Peninsula. What's up from the UP? What's going on, Richard? Robert Burkhart says, Stone Coat epoxy is expensive. Do you think it's worth the extra money? Yes, I do think it's worth the extra money. It has a lot has gone into the production of that material, and so it has a lot of things that have been added into it, like UV inhibitors, and the makeup of it. It's allowed to stay flexible. That way, it doesn't ever, like if you lay it on a wood substrate, if it were to expand and contract, it's not going to crack on you. So it's pretty awesome. It's also scratch resistant and heat resistant up to like 250 or 300 degrees. I think it's like 250 degrees. So it's I think it's definitely worth the extra price. Mike Collins says that thing doesn't look habitable. Hey man, back off. I'm just kidding. It is. I know it looks rough, but I've already been through the entire drivetrain. I just don't do body work, and I don't know how to reupholster stuff. So, you know, runs good, but it kind of looks beat up. Jeremy says, so on the last video, was the slab already flat when you got it, or did you have to router it? Hey, Jeremy, great question. So I got it from a guy that's got a mill, and he happens to have a CNC router table. So he flattened it for me before I actually got it. So it took a lot of time, saved a lot of money that way too. Hey, Richard says waiting for my big pour. I'll be posting it this weekend, so you guys just have to wait until then. Nicholas Shelton says, Nick says, do you have a dust collection system in your shop? I haven't watched all your videos, so I'm not sure if you do or not. If you do, can you tell me what setup you have? I have, yes. The dust collection that I have is my shop floor. No, I don't have a dust collection system yet. I eventually do need to get one, but at the moment I just use a mask when I remember. And my wife does get on me about not wearing a mask, so I try to wear it when I remember. Nathan says, what color is the pour? Okay, so he also says, how dare you not watch all his videos? You guys are funny. So the pour is actually a pretty cool color. So if you go on Stone Coat Countertops website, the color was Rainforest Green. It's a custom color, but we used Rainforest Green. We mixed a little bit of copper metallic in and a little bit of Crater Lake Blue. So those three colors I mixed together. It was mostly green with just a splash of copper and blue. Max says, I'm in the progress of getting my mill now. It's just an Alaskan mill, but trying to start small. Hey, you know, I've looked into getting something like that too. I will say it's a lot of work. It's really tough, especially if you're just pushing by yourself and don't have help, because sometimes you need to shim to bring the slabs up to the top. And I've seen people on YouTube get a crank with a rope and a pulley to help them pull that thing through, so they're not worn out after one pass on those Alaskan sawmills. So I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Himanshu asked, hey Nathan, which is your favorite wood to work with to make an epoxy table? Now, I have used a lot of maple. I really do like maple. However, having said that, I don't know what my favorite is. I think my favorite wood to begin with, it would be black walnut. I just think it's really pretty, especially when you have the really light colored sapwood and mixed with the really dark heartwood. I would say that's probably one of my favorites, would be black walnut. Oh, hey, so hello from Costa Rica. How's it going? Man, I'm jealous. What's the weather like there? Bob says, we discussed needing to find some epoxying music for the channel. You should take a subscriber vote. Okay. Well, I'll just put that out there if you guys read Bob's message. So Bob sent me a private message on Facebook saying that we should vote on what type of music to have on the channel for the epoxy stuff and other things. So guys, give me your opinion of the genre, I guess. What kind of music to put up there?
Tell them
Oh yeah, Aaron. My wife said. My wife, thank you, said the reason is because I get a ton of haters when it comes to the music choice, and I think what it is just because when I was learning, and I'm still learning, but when I was learning how to edit video, it was I had the volume too loud, so I think it was the volume. However, a lot of people just being kind of haters on there. All right, so I got disco, I got Johnny Cash, classical, and then Bob says Aaron needs to have the final say. Aaron's already voting for Johnny Cash. The thing is, a lot of the music, so I have to find something that's Johnny Cash-ish because I have to have some royalty-free music, and I'm sure if I used actual Johnny Cash, I'd be having to pay for royalties. Nathan said Baby Shark on repeat. People would stop watching my channel immediately if I had Baby Shark on repeat. Oh, that's funny. Bob says, need a friend who plays the guitar like from church. Hey, man, if you guys have noticed on my intro where I'm riding in the truck with Roxy, that actually was a friend of mine that recorded that just for Goodview Woodworks. So I do have a little bit of that. Nick says he's talking John Travolta disco. Like Saturday Night Fever. Is it Saturday Night Fever? Yeah. Yeah, she's really cool. You know what I'm talking about. So, before I forget, that 12-gallon pour. So what happened was my mom had to have a procedure at doctor's office, so I needed to leave for the weekend. And Mike is the guy who has commissioned me to do the table, the 12-gallon pour table, and he wanted to come help me pour. So he came over Saturday morning, and we took half the day to pour. But after he left, few hours or 4 hours, 3-4 hours later, I had to leave. So I waited for a few hours before mixing up the metallics, and it looks sweet, by the way. However, I will say, guys, when Stone Coat talks about their product and that it needs to be at least 70 degrees in there, they have a good point. So even though it is curing, because it hasn't been 70 degrees outside and I don't have a heater in there all the time, it is taking a lot longer to fully cure. So right now, it's hard-ish. I can press my thumb into it, but it's not sticky or tacky or anything like that. So what needs to happen is I need to get a heater in there to finish getting it cured. So Nathan says pour some sugar on me when you do the pour. Y'all are hilarious. Hey Mac, yeah, so the pour is happening. So there's a few things that I wanted to go over with that whole pour, and one of them, another thing is that when I made the form, I haven't taken it out of the form yet, obviously because it's not fully cured yet, so I want to make sure that happens before I pull it out of the form. Having said that, it started to leak in 2 different places, and the way that I remedied that, so I've had a few questions on Facebook from people private messaging me, asking if it starts to leak, what do you do? And I had a very similar situation. Now, it was very, very slow leak, but what I did was I made sure I had plenty of clamps available, and when it started to leak, I clamped down one side where I could actually get a clamp on. So I was able to stop that leak, and then on the other side, almost in the same spot, it started to leak as well, and I was able to make a wooden clamp from scratch. and all it was a piece of plywood, a block of wood nailed here, a block of wood nailed here, and it screwed it down to the form, so it pulled down on the edge of the form and created essentially another clamp. So simple Z-shaped block that I used to clamp it down, and that actually stopped it from leaking. So if you guys need any tips, that's exactly how I would do it. Nathan says, as the epoxy drips and hit the floor, you can hear your bank account start to crack. I know, man, that stuff is so expensive, especially, you know, pouring that much. Epoxy itself is expensive enough, but when you get into some of these name brands, it gets even more expensive. So Stonecoat says that Bob says, Rihanna, pour it up. Y'all are awesome. Yeah, keep coming up with some stuff. I'll play some stuff up in there. But Stonecoat says that the casting epoxy, when it's made to pour really thick, however, it does shrink when you do use it. And this time, so I didn't see it last time because I didn't pour as much as I did this time. But this time, I'll have to send. When I upload the video this weekend, I will record where it shrunk. Now, it only shrunk a little bit on the ends, but it's definitely noticeable because it has rounded edges, which is really strange. But the ends are going to be cut off and trimmed to the exact width, so it won't matter. Steven says, hello, man, I'm new to your channel because I want to learn how to do what you do with the tree tables. I love your work. Hey, Steven, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, well, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Shop Talk Tuesday. This is where we just do a Q&A session and just to hang out and get to know each other on here. Thanks for watching tonight. Mike Cawthon says, how much of the pigment did you use? So we ended up using, for all 12 gallons, we only used 3.5 packets of the green and only a half packet of the copper and the blue. So it actually, and it is very opaque, so you don't need a lot of the pigment to change color, for sure. Nick said regulators, Warren G and Nate Dogg. Yep, man, that's old school. I remember listening to that in high school. Jeremy says a VW fan has to have Grateful Dead. That's true too. As a matter of fact, I think when I bought my bus, the tape player had a Grateful Dead tape in the tape player when I bought it. NASCOR 89. If I want to overpour the river so that I can router it down a bit after it cures, what can I use to build up the banks maybe 1/8 of an inch that won't bother the wood? Okay. Let me think about that for a second. Hey Chris, it's all right, buddy. No worries. Better late than never. I would say, well, one way to do it would be to build your form just slightly larger than the finished piece. That way that you can overpour and router off what you need to router off. You can always, when you clamp down your wood, you can always fill it a little bit more than you need to give you that 1/8 of an inch. Plus, when you pour your final coat, you want it to be 1/8 of an inch thick as well. So that's for your flood coat to make it shiny and nice. It needs to be 1/8 of an inch as well. Todd Stewart, hello. How are you? Hey, honey, can you bring my drink, please? I was when I was pouring. Thank you, honey. Excuse me. Um, when I got ready to pour that slab, I called Stone Coat to ask them how much pigment to use. And as a matter of fact, this is the first time that I got that I had a question that they didn't really have the answer to. So I actually ordered more powder pigment than I needed, and so I ended up noticing that it does not take a lot of pigment to make that epoxy opaque. So you can always add a little bit at a time to see. Um, that's what I would suggest, is just add a little bit of pigment, stir it up, and see if you like the consistency. And then if you need more, add more. But you really don't need a lot of it. Todd Stewart asks, "How's the table coming along?" So the the 12-gallon pour table, is that the one you're asking? Oh, Chris says today's my 20th wedding anniversary. Woo woo! Well, man, congratulations! Congratulations to Chris and Mrs. Marsh. That's awesome. 20 years. That is really, really cool. I cannot wait until, well, I can wait. It's not what I mean. Uh, it'll be really cool when Aaron and I have been married for 20 years. Nathan says, "Dude, I'm not even 20 yet." You'll get there. Mac Evans says, "I made a step stool bench for my wife. I had a soft spot in it and was curious how to fix that and why 1/4 size soft spot why it could happen." So I've seen this before, and usually what it comes down to is just that it wasn't mixed long enough, and they're happy if you scrape the sides when getting all the epoxy out of the bucket to pour it, you sometimes get one little spot that wasn't fully cured. So the best solution is to, when you pour it, your flood coat, I'm guessing that's what you were doing, is to, like Stone Coat says, to chop the top, or take your trowel and mix it up a little bit while it's on the surface, so that you know you got everything mixed up. Annabelle says, "Hey, what's up, guy? How you doing?" What's up? How you doing? Steven, thanks, man. I hope it does as well. I hope that we get chosen soon. So, Matt, going back to your question, I'm not sure how to repair that. If I were to guess, I would try to. I don't know how long has it been inside? Have you had it inside above 75 degrees, or had it really warm for a while? Maybe that spot wasn't mixed up good enough. Maybe heat will help that area. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to fix that. I haven't actually had any soft spots in my epoxy yet. It's just really good practice to stir for like 3 minutes when mixing. Stir for a really long time, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, and make sure that it's fully mixed, because the part B, the hardener, is thinner than the part A, epoxy. And what happens when you start to stir, you will see these little streaks in the mixture, and you want to stir until all of those streaks are gone. And maybe you know this already. I just want to make it clear for everybody. Hey, so Annabelle says, "I finally did that river table and it came out awesome." That's great. Great news. Send some pictures overall. Post it up on the Facebook page so that everybody can see. I know they would appreciate seeing it as well as I would. Max says, "I mix and chop the surface, but thanks. I'll try to mix batch better. I put it in the house for about a week." Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, man. Sorry that happened. I would, I don't know, maybe it'd be a good time to experiment if you could put a little bit, is it just clear, Mac? Is it just clear epoxy that you used? That's soft? If it was just a clear flood coat, you may be able to, I know this might sound terrible, but to dig it out with a chisel, or some sort of tool, some sort of tool without damaging the surface, and you might be able to dig that out and sand it down a little bit and apply another coat over it. Todd made a good suggestion. Thanks, Todd. Todd said call Stone Coat Countertops. They would know. Those are really smart guys. They would they would definitely know. Hey guys, real quick, if you guys are enjoying Shop Talk Tuesday, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button so that way more people can join us on Tuesday nights. Hey guys, I just wanted to encourage you to. I would like to encourage you to make sure we get a community going on the Goodview Woodworks page. It'd be really cool for people who know more than me about stuff like this, or even woodworking or whatever it may be, to post on the Goodview Woodworks page. That way, we can all share information and learn and things like that. So if you guys go to Goodview Woodworks on Facebook, I have a page set up there for us to just talk, and if you need to send me questions or whatever, that you can do that. Alan said, hey man, it's Alan from Canada, Ontario. I love the content. Been watching for a while now. I'm just wondering, could you still use a warped wood slab to make a dining table? It's maple. Thanks. Yes. It depends on how warped it is. So the coffee table, the epoxy coffee table that I did, it was a pecan slab. It's one of my more popular videos. That one, when I got the slab, it was actually bent like this. Now it did take a lot of time and weight, but I left it in my wood shop for about 8 months with, I think it was about 150 pounds right in the middle, and I was able to get it almost flat. It depends on how much wood you have. So Alan, how thick is the maple that you have? Todd says I have a Double River coffee table going on right now. That's really cool. Hey Todd, I would also like to see some pictures of that. That's really cool. John Romano says pecan. Pecan. Well, I say pecan, boy, down here in Virginia. Nathan, you're funny, man. You say, so pecan, is it, how did you say that? Peckin'? Yeah, I can't help it. I got family from the mountains of Pennsylvania, so I got hillbillies there, and I got family in North Carolina, and I got rednecks down there, so what can I do? So Alan says that his maple is about 2.5 inches thick and 11 feet long. That is a big slab. Yes, so it depends on how much it's warped, but you could always plane it down to get that warpedness out of there. I would recommend to invest in a moisture meter. You can get them on Amazon, and all it is a little gauge with two metal prongs, and you press it into the wood to read the moisture content of the lumber. And what you can do is before you want to make sure that it is lower than 11 or 12% moisture content before you work with it. So single digits are prime, but you don't really want to go any higher than 11 or 12% moisture. Marco Velez says pecan. That's right. I said that one time. My dad said, pecan, isn't that thing that they give you at the hospital? I said, no, that's a bedpan. Nathan McCarr says, has no trouble building a $12,000 epoxy river table, but managed to screw up a single word. Hey, $12,000, that's an expensive table. I'm not on that Black Forest Wood Co. I'm not on their level yet, so maybe not $12,000. Annabelle says rednecks are cool people. Do you know any? Oh, Todd said just posted the latest pick of the table. That's awesome, Todd. Appreciate that. So guys, before I get off of here tonight, do you guys have any other questions? It can be anything from the Cheapskate Challenge to the buffet server. Any issues that you've had with your projects, or anything you need to ask me before we call tonight? Marco says, when you get a chance, please tell me what epoxy you prefer and why. I've seen you use several different kinds of epoxy. So Marco, I'm glad you asked that question. I will say Stone Coat Countertops to me is the best that I've used so far. It's very user friendly, has a long working time. It is a little bit more expensive, but it's not the most expensive. And they have an awesome website, and there's a lot of information and a lot of help with that. So Nathan McCarr says, dude, why are you still live streaming? Go and watch Netflix. That 20-year anniversary ain't gonna come easy. Oh, y'all are hilarious. Todd says, can't wait to see the next video of River Table. Hey man, me too. I'll be editing. I gotta finish recording, pulling it out of the mold, and then I'll be posting it this weekend. So you guys be on the lookout of that. Max says, one more thing. What is one of your absolute do nots when pouring? Okay. That's a good question. So I would say one of my absolute do nots is do not rush. You have plenty of time, working time with the epoxy, and I would say to always make sure that and double check that your form is level. Always double check that that your taping is good and that your caulking is good, and just make sure, just double and triple check, because as you guys have, I think one of you guys said last week, he called it liquid gold. You don't want any of that liquid gold coming out of that form. And then just take your time. Now, I would say biggest thing to do, the worst thing to do is to try to rush when doing this. Make sure you set enough time out to work with the stuff properly. Nathan says no back flips when pouring or eating potato chips. That's right. You don't to get any potato chips in there. Oh, what's that I'm drinking? It's just water. Just water. My wife and I, we like we're country. We like the mason jars. Well, she's not country. I'm country. And I like the green mason jars. It's just water. I usually have a LaCroix, an LA Croix, but we're out of them right now, so we got to go to the store and get some. It's not moonshine for sure. I wouldn't be able to take a chug like that. That's what they all say, is just water. Well, for sure it is. Guys, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. It's always a blast. It's my favorite thing to do on Tuesday nights. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to get out of here and go hang out with my wife and spend some time relaxing. I think there's one more. Max says, okay, cool, I do tend to want to see the end result and have to make myself slow down. So, yeah, for sure. And Nathan, thanks. Appreciate the heads up. I won't forget about Instagram. But guys, thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. And go on YouTube. Go on Facebook and post some stuff there. If you need to ask me, you can ask me there. You can ask me on Instagram. And so I'll be posting some pictures too on Instagram. So you guys can kind of get a sneak peek before the video comes out this weekend. I'll post some pictures of the buffet server up there as well. So guys, I will see you later. Have a good night.